Ryan, I was looking at my calendar today,
Yeah.
and like the next 10 days are just stupid busy with actual butt in seat theater screenings.
Yes.
And then I have a fistful of screening links in my email on top of that. It's almost like the olden days.
No, it's worse.
Maybe because we're clearing the backlog, we're flushing the pipes, if you will.
Well,
Um,
no, but I mean, partially because there are so many more series that take a lot of time. And yeah, so there's big movies, there's indie movies, there's series. They're coming at us from all directions. Um, in a way, I think it's impossible to cover everything at this point. You kind of have to you pick what is your domain, and it's kind of hard to figure out what that is because COVID really confused that. At one point, there were television writers and there were film writers, and streaming suddenly made that blurry, and then COVID came in and made that even blurrier, simply based on
and now it's people, people that can
yeah.
write.
Yeah, so now it's like, well, what do you want to cover?
Yeah,
Because you can't really, at least in my position, I'm not able to properly cover everything,
right.
which can be a little frustrating. So you kind of have to pick and choose. It's even hard to pick. With Netflix having a big film every week, quote unquote big film. It's hard to know. Okay, which Netflix film am I going to focus on? Which Hulu? Which Disney Plus, which Apple TV. I mean, there's just so much content out there right now, which is exciting, but it's also really intimidating.
Yeah, let's talk real quick about one of the series. I actually, there's a couple I want to mention at the end of that before we go to the one movie I'm hoping we actually have time to talk about.
Sure.
Disney Plus tomorrow. It's scant hours at this point. The latest Marvel series, Oscar Isaac, is Moon Knight.
Yeah.
We got to see the first 4 episodes. There are 6 episodes.
Yeah, well, I was going to say it's great, except for now we have to wait 5 weeks or whatever to figure out what happens next.
But to be fair, I'm looking forward to that. I posted a write-up today. This might be this is the 4th live action series. Right? WandaVision, Falcon and Winter Soldier, and Loki. And then What If doesn't really count. So of all of these, this one might be my favorite thus far. And I liked the other 3, but I went into a very not incredibly deep, but brief overview of why I liked all 4 of them and what I think they share in my write-up. But I earlier this year, we covered The Card Counter, or late last year, one of the 2, with Oscar Isaac. And I said, that was the film that convinced me he can act, that he's a good actor.
Took you long enough.
It did, I know, right? Well, I said, people were like, what about Ex Machina? I'm like, that doesn't count because a lot of people could have done what he did. The Card Counter changed that.
I don't know. That dance he does in Ex Machina.
That's a separate issue. But no, but this show he's playing right now. He's playing at least 2 people.
Yeah, I think you could argue 3 or 4.
Right. But he's doing it really well. And they've eased into how he's portraying these people or how he's transitioning between people. It starts one way and then it becomes a completely different presentation to us, I should say. And even to him, because as we learned, his lines are being blurred. Between things. I love it. It's another series that's all about identity. Who are you? What makes you who you are? Where do you fit? I love it. It was a factor in WandaVision. It was a factor in Falcon and Winter Soldier. It's a factor in Loki. But I think this series, it really is the deepest, hardest hitting look at identity of all of those 4. And that's not to say there's not superhero action-y stuff and CGI stuff. I don't know how you felt about the first 4. I think it built. Every episode got better.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with that. I mean, the to be honest, it took me at least an episode and a half, maybe even two episodes before I thought, okay, I can go with this. Um, and I don't maybe I don't know what it is exactly, but um, we have a character who has a disorder that warps his perspective, um, and I don't know. I mean, I guess for me, it took a little while to figure out where it was going. Um, but I think because part of it is that just you start so much inside of his character's head, and then you start expanding from there, and you start including other characters, and he has to interact with all these other characters.
Yep.
Whereas he's more isolated at the very beginning. And yeah, I mean, I like it fine. I definitely prefer it to Winter Soldier and whatnot, Falcon and the Winter Soldier. But I don't. WandaVision's still better as far as I'm concerned. But I think part of that's just because I was more into what they were doing. It's not necessarily because it is head and shoulders better or anything like that. I just think I was more into what they were doing rather than being completely in on this until around the fourth episode where it says, okay, I get what you're doing. And so now, well, I have to stop. Oh,
Yeah, right.
oh.
And then of course, halfway through the fourth episode, they throw us another curve.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
it can't be what it isn't what they're presenting.
No.
But
Well,
it changes
not.
what we're seeing. Well, no, it cannot be what they're presenting to us. It literally cannot be what they're presenting to us, but it changes the dynamic of what has gone on in the 3.5 episodes leading up to that.
Sure.
And so I'm like I said, at the end of the first episode, I was like, okay, they laid the groundwork, they teased the thing, that's fine. And I was okay with that. And then once the second episode, you have to get 5 minutes into the episode. You're like, okay, now I see what we're doing. We're doing good on that. Anyone out there, if you don't normally go to the website, if you just listen to us on the thing, go to the website, VS Movie Podcast, and read what I wrote about the Marvel series for this show. You'll find it. The link's right there. It's near the top. You'll find it. Just do a search for Moon Knight and you'll find it. But I think it's an interesting tape. It could go deeper. I don't have a philosophy degree or a psychology/psychiatry degree. But I think my points are valid. So let me know if you think I'm wrong. But yeah, no, I think there's going to be a segment of people that don't like this, but maybe for the same reason that they didn't like WandaVision, because it is not conventional in its storytelling.
No, it can be rather bonkers at times. Really, I mean, if you look at what's maybe it's not overly bonkers in the superhero world, but it almost it is pretty crazy.
And let me be clear, and I'm gonna mention this for several reasons, but if it's not as bonkers as Legion was when it was on television, but if you didn't like Legion, you may have an issue with Moon Knight, maybe, but it's nowhere near that bonkers, because Legion was bonkers. You needed a philosophy degree, or you were going to have one by the time that show was over. So yeah, I mean, and this is just one of many series that we're talking about. Not just on Disney Plus.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, let's talk about our not sponsor, who should be our sponsor. Let's talk about Apple TV for a second.
Okay.
You did an interview, I believe, with some people from Pachinko.
Yes, I love Pachinko.
I watched the first episode today.
Yeah.
I will be going back.
Oh, it's just this grand epic, but it's
right.
It's tiny. It's a
very intimate epic.
Yes, so the story is basically about a family, and it takes place over about an 80-year period, and it's about a family that moves from Korea to Japan, and then from Japan, eventually they move to America, and it's about the way that they are treated in both countries, and it's based on a book, and the original book is kind of told in a traditional linear fashion, where it's you progress through time
Right.
in a straight line. The This adaptation that they've done, the first three episodes are out. It interweaves the all the eras together, and what it does is help to make you kind of, in a sense, realize how little society progresses over this 80-year, the technology around them, and the world kind of changes. It looks radically different, obviously, but the if you like the spiritual nature of the world doesn't change very much, and it's just again, it's about one family, but it feels like it represents something much larger.
Well, it
And
does,
they did,
because that first episode, people are going to get a history lesson.
yes, oh yes.
So just be prepared for a little bit of a history lesson, but it's an important history lesson.
No, and I think, yeah, I mean, I think there's things that we don't really think about because they happen on the other side of the world, and we all have our own issues that we were dealing with history wise, and the world's narratives, or there's something happening ever. I think you could probably take any sort of microcosm, and there's stuff that we just don't know and we didn't realize, and that's really interesting. But yeah, this one focuses on the experience of people from Korea who have, basically been forced out of their country.
Yep.
Which, I mean, is that happening now? Yeah.
It is under a lot of the same circumstances, amazingly
So,
enough.
yeah. So, yeah.
Let's shift gears for a second. Another not sponsor Apple TV show. I don't know if you've watched any of it yet. Slow Horses.
Yeah, I've watched all of it.
Have you watched? I watched the first two.
Yeah, I've watched all of it.
Gary Oldman.
Yeah, well, yeah, and Gary Oldman in his socks with holes in them.
Oh my God.
And
he's so God. Just watch Gary Oldman shop for groceries, and it's going to be compelling.
Just because he's like a filthy old spy, basically.
Right.
No, it's it's a spy thriller in the kind of classic British vein of spy thrillers, except for we're watching the underfunded misfits, but it's not comedic, but they're literally the discarded, the agents that have fallen out of
favor.
Out of favor, or who
we can't terminate you. It's like, I won't kill you, but you're going to wish you were dead professionally.
Yeah, and it's yes.
And Gary Oldman's whole job is to run Slow House.
Yes.
Slaw House, really. SLOUGH house is the building they work out of. 3 miles from the headquarters of MI5, the mothership, if you will. But they're in the rusted out shit box of
literally.
MI5. Yeah, literally. and his job, and he tells this guy in episode 1, my job is to make you quit. And literally all they do is analyze paperwork from the 80s for parking tickets, and just the crappiest. Think of the crappiest thing your boss ever made you do.
Go dig through garbage
and but not tell you what you're looking for, or what.
No, just go dig. Literally, just go dig through garbage.
Go dig through garbage, and literally, it is not as bad as what these guys are going through.
No, it's I mean, basically, the Gary Oldman character is it's to make you quit, and in order to make you quit, I'm going to make you do nothing of value, nothing of it's and I want to remind you as often as I possibly can, nobody wants you.
Nope, I don't want you. I want you to leave.
I don't,
because the fact well, I'm hoping that certain things happen, because you've seen it also. Don't ruin it for me. I'm hoping that by the end we find out that he really hopes to get rid of people like back up, not down, but that's a whole other argument. But the way he presents himself is that they are an imposition on his ability to do nothing. Like if they weren't there, he would literally be sitting in that office waiting for them to send more people and doing nothing. So he's a cast off too.
Yes. And this is based on a series of books. There are going to be multiple seasons of this. Which is great. I don't know how many, but there are multiple seasons that are happening.
Yeah, it's just stupid good British spy television.
But again, it's one of those films that in a way it checks off all the boxes for what a spy thriller is supposed to have, but it's different than pretty much any spy thriller that we've watched. I mean, this is not James Bond. This is not Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy, or
Right.
or any of this stuff. It's such a radically different thing.
Yeah, it is so impressive. Another one that I've watched one episode of, again on Apple. What is it? The Ptolemy Gray with Samuel L. Jackson.
Yeah, where he's got dementia, I believe, and he's trying to work his way through.
Yeah, and apparently there's a clinic that works with severe memory loss, but he remembers things, and by that, so bad things are going to happen. I've only watched one, but again, and now you've got Samuel L. Jackson starring in a show.
Yeah, and that was a passion project for him. It was something that he pretty much got. He was the driving force behind getting that made, which I mean. And it is slightly different than what you would expect usually from Samuel L. Jackson, I guess.
Yes,
but there's more of a performance.
But it's compelling.
There.
It is very compelling.
Absolutely. It's just not. It's not what you expect from him necessarily. It's not that you're surprised that he can act, but sometimes he doesn't have to act very much. In some of the films and things that he's in, he doesn't really have to put in as much work as. Some other projects, and this one he's really all in on.
Yeah, it's really exceptional. So again, there is an abundance of riches right now,
and it's like how do I pick? And for me, a lot of what happens is what gets pushed in front of me.
Right.
Oh, this okay. It's like a cafeteria.
And like I said, I've watched 2 episodes of Slow Horses. And if I had the time, I literally would have just watched them all. And I've watched one Ptolemy Gray, but if I had the time, I would just watch them all and be done with it, and be done with it. If I had the time, all of the Pachinko would be done. They would all be done. And I would be done. I literally don't have the time because you're right. There's this, there's that, there's other, there's Moon Knight on Disney. There's all these films coming out. I think we have 5 in theaters. At least I do, I think, in the next 8 or 10 days.
Well,
plus, like I said, plus the handful of screeners.
Morbius.
Morbius, Fantastic Beasts, Sonic. What is Tuesday?
You won't be. Is there another You Won't Be Alone?
There's another screening, but I watched that when it was out on. It's ridiculous.
It is, and there's stuff that like the
Ambulance,
Ambulance, the new Michael Bay film.
It's crazy.
It is, and
Amazon has a new one coming out that actually that's in my inbox. The Chris Pine,
the Old Knives,
which is just All the Old Knives, which is another spy movie. So with a lot of intrigue and a mole and this and that and the other thing. So I have to watch that because that link expires.
There's that, and there's the new Mark Wahlberg film, Father Stew, I think, or something.
Yeah, I haven't got
anyway. Yeah, I've got. I mean, but there's like just so much that I would love to do this 24/7. Well, I don't know if I'd love to do it 24/7, but
I could do it 20/4.
Yeah, but there's just
I don't sleep anyway, so it's like I only really need 4 hours. But yeah, you're right. But we both have other jobs, even though yours lets you do a lot of it. But anyway,
there's I mean, and there's a lot of crossover for me, but it's still crossover, and I'm not in a position where I can be at work a lot of the time and watch a movie.
Right.
I can't be, because that would get in the way of my other job and everything I have to do.
Yeah.
So it's rough.
So TV, the TV stuff makes it really, really hard.
Mm.
But then you tack all these movies on, like the one If You Have Time. We'll touch very quickly, and we're just it's not even going to separate episode because I know we both want to talk about this movie.
Absolutely.
Everything, Everywhere, All at Once.
Yeah.
A24. That is it. We are going to be talking about a metric crap ton of films next week, I think, because we have so much on our plate to watch. But until we do, stay safe. Go to a movie. They're literally just point at the marquee, and odds are you're going to find something worth watching. It feels like an embarrassment of riches right now, and the big movies are going to keep coming. But go to a theater this week, have fun, grab some popcorn. There's date movies out there. There are not date movies out there. Don't forget to like us, follow us on social media at VS Movie Podcast. You know the drill. If you're on YouTube, click subscribe. That would be great as well. And until next time, I'm Mark. That is Ryan. Bye, Ryan.
See you guys. I got to go watch something.
Yeah, me too. And we'll talk to y'all later. Bye-bye.